Hi everyone, Jeff here from Montoux, coming at you with another episode of The Good Life. Sorry it's been a while since we've delivered any new content. We've been really busy testing out some new product features. This week we have got a really exciting interview for you with Charles Hett, who's one of our directors, and Gert Verhoog, the CTO of Montoux. They talk about a range of topics, computer processing power advancements, Gert's AI degree and programming football playing robots, and also they move on to things like autonomous vehicles. So stay tuned, great episode. For me, the personal highlight was seeing Charles drink his gigantic cup of tea, but other than that, they do cover some really interesting topics. Talk to you soon.
Well, you were starting by talking really about the area that you have had a lot of familiarity with around the sort of start of artificial intelligence.
So the artificial intelligence research has seen a number of waves, and it started in the mid 1950s. But the amount of data and amount of processing power was so much smaller than what their ideas could what their ideas needed really. So it's for a long time it was really constrained by slow technology and limited capacity for computers, and that's kind of. There was a sort of a boom in artificial intelligence in the 1980s where, in a way, it got oversold and made claims that they couldn't quite live up to because the technology just wasn't there. And that has changed massively, even in the last 10 years or 5 years. With the speed of the internet and the enormous amounts of data that we can analyze and process. All these different technologies that are coming together now with sort of the algorithms of artificial intelligence that makes the near future very exciting. So
that's right. I mean, one of the things I remember reading, and it's a lot of this. There's no, in my view, there's no direct science, and some of it is obviously looking into the future. It was just a way of thinking about it, and at some point we may go into a bit more detail, but you think about sort of measuring whatever the human brain is, or the massive number of neurons and connections we have in the head, and how they help these bodies do the things that we have that they have done. And you can kind of think that perhaps in around about 1985, and this is very the computer processing power could do perhaps 1/trillionth of a human brain. There's one way of thinking about it. By 1995, it could perhaps do 1/billionth of a human brain. Now, I mean, what does that mean? I don't know, but if you like, you can, and although this is a sort of an exponential position, because it's the connections here that are the important things, by 2005, actually, we could just do 1/millionth of a human brain. And maybe another 10 years, 2015, maybe we can do 1,000th of a human brain. So I'm just jumping by 10 to the power of 3.
Well, you can see where that will.
And if that's going in 10 years' time, 2025, using mid-decade years, maybe computer power can emulate a human brain, whatever that means. And I think the general sense is that the computer processing power around is, we don't know this, but we're just guessing it by numbers of activities that are generated, can probably do what insects could do.
Sure, yeah.
If you like, you could pass off a computer to persuade one insect that it actually isn't another insect, it's a computer behind it, something. I don't think you can do that for human beings yet, and that's the Turing test. But yes, I agree. I mean, computer power and the extension of data is just a huge component to making happen what we're seeing, what we're beginning to see around.
That sort of reminds me of the while I was doing my AI degree, my specialty was programming a little robot that looks like a vacuum cleaner, and it could play football. And during my time in the robot football team, things were quite primitive, and I think we participated in the European Robotic Football Championship.
Never heard of that. That sounds very exciting.
It was a lot of fun, and I think we actually won one game because the other robots had crashed and weren't moving. So we used that to our advantage, of course. A couple of years later, when I sort of revisited that, it was a completely different world, and now they have humanoid robots who are starting to play football.
Really?
And they don't look like vacuum cleaners anymore.
And this is kind of what we call physical football.
Yes.
Kicking another round thing at other players. Not a virtual game of football.
No.
Wow.
That was good fun.
Yes.
And it just goes to show how quickly these things change.
Yes. Because it sort of makes me realise just some of the sort of the reading, the articles I've been reading. We can see, there's one area where artificial intelligence, very smart cognitive processing is going to be very important, is in self-driving cars. So, that's something being discussed, along with them being electric cars as well, I guess, but they are two slightly separate things. And it's best to understand it. One of the best ways of getting cars to practice driving is actually to get the software systems behind self-driving cars to actually play games with ordinary computer games. So, we have a whole world, it's not one I know very well, but of computer games out there. Grand Theft Auto or Myst would be a game that I remember in my youth, which is one of the better ones, but still. And human beings play those, and they get a lot of satisfaction. Actually now getting other pieces of software, computers, to play these games and see how you can transfer the skills of winning this game to this kind of game is another huge type of learning process for computer software that we're calling cognitive smart.
Well, and especially if on the topic of self-driving cars, if you let them loose in a normal urban environment, everyone tries really hard to stay out of the car's way. So no one is sort of trying to test the limits in ordinary use. But if you create this sort of artificial intelligence in a computer simulation, you can throw all kinds of danger and make it especially difficult for the software to navigate and all the dangers and obstacles, which will make it a lot better more quickly, I suppose.
And I mean that's ultimately not so dissimilar to, we'll call it flight simulators, where we train pilots to at least have experience in hopefully never to happen conditions, so that they can test if it happened what they would do. And that's isn't it, in a way, it's right. I kind of remember as well that with the various different organizations, and Elon Musk is building, or Tesla's building cars, and I'm sure Google has cars, and I'm sure that some of the traditional car manufacturing firms are also maybe a bit behind, but probably in that space. But I kind of heard that there are many cars that is doing millions of miles of driving in reasonably realistic solutions, and they are spending a lot of time paying attention to where the accidents do happen and what the conditions are. And one anecdote I remember hearing, it's just interesting to hear, was where a self-driving car did hit something else, either another human. Well, I don't think it was a human being. I think it was another car.
Right.
It was to do with the conditions that it wasn't able to identify a white van sitting essentially on the horizon behind a very white background sky. It couldn't distinguish it fast enough to spot that was a car, therefore I do whatever I do, move out of the way, slow down, or whatever. But it is amazing.
It's interesting because if you think about Sunstrike or something, human drivers can't. They get in trouble with these sort of edge cases, and at least you can blame the human for for crashing into something and not seeing the danger. But what happens if a self-driving car gets in an accident? Who is to blame?
The software, the person who maybe was on call, even if they weren't actually driving.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. There's all sorts of human issues, and sometimes it makes me think that a lot of this technology is moving so fast that actually, perhaps I'll come on to this in a second, us ordinary human beings aren't remotely able to keep up with it in terms of our social skills or emotional skills or whatever our humanness is
Sure, yeah.
about it to deal with it.
Yeah.